Our opening words this morning were composed by Molly Hush Gordon. We gather together this morning tenderly, like drops of dew on a leaf of grass, hopefully, like gathered raindrops in a cloud, gleefully, like water rushing in a stream to the sea, and deeply, like groundwater pulled up from a well. We gather from every direction for another year of growth and depth, another year of companionship and hope, another year of learning to love this world. We gather like the water that joins us across all of creation, the water that connects us within and without, merging and flowing across the entire world. Welcome everyone to the weekly worship service of Buckman Bridge Unitarian Universalist Church, coming to wherever you are via our YouTube channel. Staying connected is just as important these days as staying physically apart, so we will continue to offer virtual worship until we can meet once again in person in our church sanctuary. In addition to worship, we are continuing our other opportunities for connection: classes, small group ministries, children's chapel, parent groups, and coffee conversations, all through the magic of the internet and Zoom. Check in regularly with the BBUUC website, calendar, Facebook page, and your email for more information on the ways we can keep our inner flames burning bright while we tend the fire from afar. If you are new to Unitarian Universalism, be sure to come back and watch next week's service. You should watch last week's service too. While our messages of hope, love, compassion, and service are consistent, our services are as diverse as our theological background. We enjoy a wide array of sermons, philosophical queries, poems, readings, songs, and music in our services. I hope you will continue to join us online until we can be together in person again. Today is water sharing. If you were not able to submit a video to share, please feel free to pause today's service and perform your own ritual as we come together in spirit, if not in body, today. Our chalice illumination today is by Gregory Pelly. And so we gather from the ebb and flow of our lives, thirsty for connection to ourselves, thirsty for connection to others, thirsty for connection to the larger life. As we light this chalice, may all who gather here be filled with joy and hope, filled with compassion and love. Here, may we be filled so that we may pour ourselves out into the world.
Hello, friends. What a beautiful day it is being here with you. I have a story to share with you, but first, let's see what's in the Wonder Box today. You have any guesses? Today's item is so big it won't fit in the box. Are you ready? It's a bucket, an old rusty bucket. This bucket was used by my friend Higgins. He's a drop of water, and he had a dream. And I first heard about the dream from Reverend Chris Buse. Let me share his dream with you. Once upon a time, there was a drop of water named Higgins. Higgins was no ordinary drop of water. He was a drop with a dream. Higgins lived in a valley where it had not rained in a very long time, so all the lovely green grass was turning brown, all the beautiful flowers were wilting, and all the trees were starting to droop. Higgins had a dream that one day the valley would be a beautiful place again. But what could he do? After all, he was only a drop of water. One day, Higgins decided to travel and tell others about his dream. All the other drops listened very politely, but no one believed his dream would come true. Higgins, said one, "Get your head out of the clouds. You can't spend your whole life dreaming." Higgins decided that he had to do something to make his dream come true. So he began to think and think and think. And one day, as he was walking by a rusty old bucket, he got an idea. If enough of us drops of water got together in this bucket, Higgins thought, there would be enough water to sprinkle on a few flowers to help them grow and become beautiful again. Eagerly, Higgins told everyone about his great idea. But everyone thought he was being foolish. "That Higgins is nothing but a dreamer," they said. Higgins decided he had to do something to convince the others that he was right. So he said to them, "I don't know about you, but I'm getting into the bucket. I hope some of you will join me. Then there might be enough water to help at least some flowers grow beautiful again." So Higgins ran as hard as he could, hopped way up in the air, and landed with a kerplunk in the bottom of the bucket. And there he sat, just a drop in the bucket. For a long time, Higgins was very lonely. It seemed like no one else was going to join him. But after a while, some of the other drops could see that the grass was dying, and the flowers were wilting, and the trees were drooping. They all agreed that something must be done. Suddenly, one drop shouted, "I'm going in the bucket with Higgins!" And he leaped through the air and landed kerplunk in the bucket. Then two other drops yelled, "Wait for us!" And they hopped through the air and landed in the bucket. Then 10 drops jumped through the air into the bucket. Then 30, then 50, and then hundreds of drops came from all around just to hop in the bucket. Soon the bucket was completely full of water. But there were still more drops that wanted to join. So they found another bucket and hopped in. Before long, there were 2 buckets of water, and then 3, and then 4, and then 10, and then hundreds, and then thousands of buckets of water. Along came a powerful breeze that blew over the buckets, and all the water flowed together to make a mighty stream. Everywhere the water flowed, the grass turned green again, and the flowers bloomed, and the trees stood tall and straight once more. All this happened because Higgins had a dream, and his dream came true. Because he knew that although he was just a drop in the bucket, enough drops in the bucket make a bucket full. And when there are enough buckets with the wind behind them, then justice will roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I wonder, have you ever felt like a drop in a bucket? Have you ever been part of the mighty stream? I wonder where you see yourself in this story. And with this, our story is told. Until the next time.
Into each life some rain must fall, or so I heard on the radio. We have rainbows too, so sometimes that makes the rain a little easier to bear. Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection. Ours is a spiritual community where we find meaning. Ours is a shared community where our joys are amplified, and a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. Let us now take a moment to reflect on the joys and sorrows among us this week. We light a candle of both joy and concern for all of our children, youth, teachers, and administrators who have returned to school, whether in person or virtual. May you find all of the resources you need to have a positive learning experience and a successful school year. May you meet the challenges you face with open minds and hearts and receive many blessings. We light a candle of joy for Erin R., who celebrates her birthday today, September 6th. We also have multiple candles of joy for birthday celebrations with Shanna G., August M., and Pedro R., all sharing their special day tomorrow, September 7th. We have one more candle of celebration for David and Peg C., whose wedding anniversary is on the 7th as well. And we light a final virtual candle for all the joys and sorrows that may remain unspoken but in our hearts this morning. Let us hold each other in our hearts when we cannot hold each other in our hands. Let us be filled with kindness, grace, empathy, and patience. Let us reach out from our solitude and remember that we are still connected and need connection, whether it's a call, card, email, or text. Your congregation is here for you, should you need comfort or help. Each one of you is what makes our church a community. Even though our future is unclear, we remain focused on our mission. Since we are unable to pass the plate, we will accept a virtual offering. Your pledges sustain this community so we can share our small embers to light a dark world, and for your financial support, we are most grateful. Our virtual plate offering today and throughout the month of September will go to the UUA Disaster Relief Fund. Disasters impact our congregations and their communities with increasing rapidity. From natural disasters like wildfires that scorch everything in their path, and hurricanes that bring destruction through winds and water, to human-caused disasters like the collapsing infrastructure that we've seen in Flint, our congregations, our people, and our communities sustain the impact. Your donation now will allow the UUA to respond flexibly to current disaster needs and to new situations as they arise. Find the link on our YouTube page to make a direct donation to this important fund and give whatever you are able. It will be most gratefully received. The annual water sharing service, sometimes called a water communion, is beloved by Unitarian Universalists. It's one of my favorite UU rituals. This ritual was created in 1980 by two Unitarian Universalist women, Carolyn McDade, who you might recognize as the author of Spirit of Life, and Lucille Shuck Longview, when they were asked to create a worship service for the Women and Religion Continental Convocation of Unitarian Universalists. As they shaped that service, McDade and Longview wanted to create a new ritual that, quote, spoke to our connectedness to one another, to the totality of life, and to our place on this planet, end quote. They included a new inclusive symbol of women's spirituality, water. Held in East Lansing, Michigan, their service was called Coming Home Like Rivers to the Sea. The group of women gathered around a large earthenware bowl and brought water from the distant places from which they came to commingle with the others. As the ritual continued, the waters deepened in meaning for them, just as water deepens during its long and winding journey to the sea. Since that November day in 1980, the water ritual has become an annual celebration as part of the autumn ingathering services of Unitarian Universalist congregations around the country. Reverend Amy Zucker Morgenstern, from her blog, Sermons in Stones, in June of 2013 wrote, "The core symbolism of the water communion is that we all come from water. As a species on a planet where life began in the ocean, as mammals who float in amniotic fluid as we are readied for birth, and as beings whose cells are mostly water. And yet we are separate from each other, and we have been apart. Since there tends to be a slowing down, a different rhythm in the summer months, even in churches that have services and religious education right on through the summer, and now we are reuniting. We are separate and together, the way water scatters into rain, and streams, and clouds, and springs, and ponds, and puddles, and yet flows together again and again, one great planetary ocean. Not only is no one drop of water superior to any other, all water comes from the same source." End quote. Although our summer is ending, our rhythm is not what it was, nor what we want it to be. We can't yet physically come together like drops of rain forming a river to the sea. Today, water is our great metaphor. For some, water holds special meaning, with fond memories of family vacations around special lakes or oceans. For others, water is the eternal reminder of our interconnectedness and commonality with all living things. Whether water comes as tears of joy or sorrow, in the deluge of storms or drought of summer, we cannot ignore our universal need for it. With our water sharing ritual, we can celebrate the power each drop has and honor and recognize the greater meaning of water within our families, communities, and the whole wide, wet, beautiful world.
Hi, this is Lee Plum, and the next connection I want to make with water is the fact that we're all made of water and 7 pounds of chemicals. So, happy water sharing, everybody, and welcome to the connection.
In all my travels around the world, I have taken waterways and I have noticed that they connect cultures, waterways provide income, they provide habitat for people and for animals, and they need to be kept clean, and they need to be respected as a vehicle that do keep us all interacted as a worldwide community.
My name is Karen.
My name is Ken. We moved into this house in February of 2011. At that point, this whole backyard was very, very bare. In February of 2012, we purchased 3 small bamboo shoot starts, about so tall, 1 shoot per plant, 3 plants along here, and planted them. They are now what you see behind me, about 40 foot tall. I am thankful for the power of water to help plants grow, and the power of water to help us stay alive and well. Thus I give my water to our common bowl.
This is the bucket I've used all summer to collect water for my plants that I keep in my room. Lots of plants in that room. One day I was listening to the rain just pour out of the sky, and I couldn't understand what noise was being made somewhere in the yard. It sounded like a really loud, painful crying of some animal. Couldn't find it, kept looking, nothing out there, no huge animal or anything in the trees. And then I came back one more time, looked a little more closely, and on the ground in the middle of a huge puddle of rain was this frog, loudly screaming. Picked it up, moved it to a higher place, and I thought to myself, you know, when we feel like we're drowning, sometimes we need a little help from someone else, and it's good to know we're not alone. This water now into our container.
Good morning, everyone. It's Claire Goodrich.
Hi, everybody. It's Brad Goodrich.
We're here this morning for the water ceremony. The water that we have represents the water that rushes in the rivers of North Carolina and North Georgia. We went up there to visit this summer to socially distance and get away for a vacation, and we found that it really soothed our souls and gave us great family time and always washes away our fears and anxieties about the world today. So we would like to add our water to the collective bowl.
Hi, BBUC community. I am Reverend Amy Moses Lagos. Today I am sharing with you water from Lake Washington, a freshwater lake here in Seattle. Swimming in Lake Washington in the summer and walking along the shores of Lake Washington all throughout the year are activities that help me to reconnect with the spirit of life and love.
Hi, it's Carol Hawkins here. I'm here to do water sharing because it's a ritual that shows even when we're separated, we're still connected to each other in our values and purpose. My water this year represents rainwater. 2 weeks after the George Floyd shooting, I marched with the Black Lives Matter protesters here in downtown Jacksonville, as did several friends from BBUC. The protesters were asking local officials to divert money from the huge sheriff department's budget back into community services, which have been cut for years and years. And also they were asking to release video footage taken from police body cameras during police shootings, which so far that's never been done in Jacksonville. I do champion social justice causes, but I rarely march, so it was really a big deal for me to do this. I felt strongly that we needed to add voices of support to a community here in Jacksonville that's been left behind. And I was proud that several folks from BBUC lifted their voices as well for this cause. It rained the day of the protest, and still 2,000 people turned out. It felt good to see that there were so many people in Jacksonville who would show up for justice. I was proud of us. So I'm adding my symbolic rainwater from that day to our church's shared water.
I'm David Christensen. I'm here in the Memorial Garden. This last month, we've had more rain than we've needed, and it's flooded from here on the patio all the way across our backyard. At the same time, California has had fires that were out of control. They were burning places that I used to live near and that I would visit when I was there. And so I am pouring this water with my thoughts on the people of California.
This water is in remembrance of my son, Gabriel.
Hello. This is a picture that my mother gave to me many years ago. So it reminds me of our mother, the earth, and our great mother. And when I think of the way in which water represents community, I think of a wonderful song that I love from my faith. And the lines from that song which seem to apply most to this water sharing are, "We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean."
Hi everybody, I'm David Dean. This water comes from the St. Johns River. And on the banks of that river, last June, just south of Palatka, a memorial service and celebration was held for my beloved wife and partner and your friend, Reverend Elizabeth Teal. And that congregation, Unitarian Universalists of Putnam County, and ours here at BBUC, are just a small part of the incredibly wide circle of connections and communities that intersected and surrounded her. So this water represents that connection to me. I love you, Lizzie.
This water represents for me the communal waters around the world of people washing their hands during this pandemic in order to show love and caring to the greater community.
These drops of water represent our love for each other. Although our drops may be separated at times, our love grows when we come together as family, congregation, and community.
Hi, I'm Pam Richards, and it has brought me joy during the pandemic to be able to take my morning or evening walks down to the dock in my community that's on Peters Creek. And in Peters Creek, instead of having airplane noise, we have train noise because the train trestle goes right past the dock headed north. Peters Creek runs into Black Creek, which runs into the St. Johns River, and then of course to the Atlantic. So when I sit there and do my little meditating time in nature, it makes me feel a lot more connected to people in this area, my family up north, and even my friends overseas. Here's my water.
Hi, my name is Sydney Chris, and my water from the service is in my University of North Florida cup because my water represents education and knowledge. and the importance it is to us and to everyone.
The water Cindy and I are sharing is representative of one of the things we love so much about my home city of Jacksonville and what brought us back from Texas. Of course, family was our primary motive, but our little solar fountain in the backyard, our pool, the water every time we cross Julington Creek Bridge or the Buckman Bridge, it connects us. It connects us to our family, to our friends. It gives us a sense of peace and serenity and reminds us every day why we are so happy to be here and be a part of this church.
Hello, Chris Kynes here. I'm sharing water from where I work at Swimming Safari Swim School. The water here is around 90 degrees every time I come to work, which helps my joints immensely. And then I also have the ultimate joy of teaching children to swim. I think water is the perfect tool to help children learn how to overcome their fears. And it also is all about drowning prevention. So here's my water.
During this time of social distancing, the birds have brought us pleasure and peace. Water is essential to our world's existence and its ability to thrive. We should strive to provide clean water to all living things.
All right, so I bring water from my home, and in my bowl I use as my chalice. And in my bowl, I have a sponge from Little Gasparilla Island, where my family vacationed. I think it represents that life from that beach. And I notice now in the water that a little tiny crab had made its home in the sponge and is part of the water now too. Reminds me of all life coming together, just like my family vacationing there. It was a very special time. And before I share the water, I'd like to say my family misses you and the connection. And of course, we are connected. So with this water, I share that connection. And now I share it with you.
Good morning. My name is Linda Mowers, and I would like to share waters to mingle in the common bowl of our congregation today as a symbol of human tears of sorrow and of joy. Tears that represent the flow of our lives. I believe that tears are soul cleansing and mind enriching, and tears have healing properties. Tears can give us internal strength and mindfulness. May they gush forth in hope and flow through us in love and compassion, meeting and merging with the waters of meaning shared by each of us today.
And as we do each year, some of our commingled waters will be saved with those from all the previous years of our water sharing tradition. This truly is holy water. On Leah Morris's website, she states, "Love is the highest form of worship." Leah goes on to say, "I'll sing anywhere folks agree that we are all one. My music and I have found home in centers for spiritual living, Unitarian, Unity, ethical culture, and Presbyterian and Jewish congregations." Please enjoy Leah performing our closing hymn, number 134, Our World is One World.
Our world is one world. What touches one affects us all. The seas that wash us round about, the clouds that cover us, the rain that love or hate we make, a bridge or a wall. Our world is one world. Its ways of wealth affect us all. The ways we spend, the ways we share, who are the rich and poor, who stand or fall. Our world is one world, just like a ship that bears us all, where fear and greed make many holes, but where our hearts can hear a different call. This is all of our world, all of our world. It's all of our world. Yes, this is all of our world. It's all of our world. It's all of our world. This is all of our world.
Our benediction today is by Erica Barron. May you never thirst. May your body and your spirit always have what they need. When you are in need of refreshment or new life, may the waters be available to you. May you never know thirst unto death in your body or in your soul. May you never thirst. And may your body and your spirit always thirst enough to stay alive. May you know the dissatisfaction with things as they are that leads to work for justice. May you know the thirst for new knowledge that leads to the quest for truth. May you know the desire for deeper connection that creates new and stronger relationships. May you know the spiritual thirst that keeps the soul searching and gives the sweetness of new discovery to faithful followers of spiritual paths of all kinds. May you never thirst too deeply, but may your thirst never be entirely quenched. Thank you for sharing your time with us this morning. I hope to see you again next week. Namaste. Blessed be. Go in peace.